Greetings, everybody. This is the Starving Martian, and today we are getting into the main story of the Mars Attacks miniseries published by Topps Comics back in 1994. For those of you that are good with math, that was 2 years before the movie came out, and so this, in a way, helped pave the way for the film that we all know and love so very, very much. So, we've already looked previously at all the backup stories that were in this miniseries. If you, by chance you missed out on those, simply click on my name, find my playlist for Mars Attacks the Comics. They'll be under that. But, that being said, this here, what you're looking at, is actually a special edition of the first issue. And if you see this black bar here on the regular edition, it would tell you that your comic has a free poster inside, and that poster is a little pull-out poster with all 55 original trading cards on it. The special edition, you don't get the poster. Sure. Somebody tell me how that works. You do get gold foil up here instead of the green, but yeah, you missed out on the poster. I do have to say, in fairness, that mine also came with this certificate of authenticity from Topps, which is pretty cool, showing this was a winner from the Mars Attacks fan appreciation drawing. I guess the person in question didn't appreciate it that much, since I was able to buy this in a comic shop. It also came with a postcard from the movie, which was going to be coming out. You can see on the back it says, coming to our planet Friday, December 13th. And there where the stamp is a little Martian symbol. Very cool. And it came with a trading card, Mars Attacks trading card, from the Mars Attacks Archives reprint, autographed by Len Brown, one of the creators of the series. Very, very nice. So I guess I can live without the pull-out poster. So, this is the full cover of issue number 1. Very, very nicely done. I like the redesign of the aliens, the Martians, that they use on the covers, better than the redesign that they actually use in the interior art. So you can see a Martian here amidst all this devastation. They're back. The invasion has begun. Of course, the invasion begins is the title of the very first card of the very first trading card series, and I'm sure that was an intentional nod to that. Now, some of you guys may already have this story. There's a couple collections. For example, Mars Attacks the Graphic Album and Mars Attacks Classics Volume 1. Both of these reprint the story found herein. But if all you have is this story, there's some parts you might not know, some parts you might not even understand, because some characters, they don't even get named in this book. They'll be named later when they reappear in the 7-issue quote-unquote ongoing series. So even if you've read this before, you might learn something new today. Other characters are named in here, but their names will blink by so quick that you'll miss them if you're not paying close attention. Which is actually, I don't mind. The way characters are introduced seems very natural, very organic. There's no info dump. Alright, so we get this nice page here telling you who all these people are who worked on the comic. We know they worked on it because this guy's name is John Workman. And then we start the issue proper with a couple characters who will go nameless because they don't survive the next 3 pages. It's a quiet morning in England. And if you ever wondered what English mail trucks look like, apparently they're red. I thought that was an ambulance at first, but no, it's a mail truck. This guy's griping a bit about being hungover. And this certainly doesn't help his day. Nice shot here of Martian UFO in the series. They've redesigned everything. So don't be looking for your classic robots, your classic Martians. Everything got its own unique look in here, which annoyed me at first, I'll be honest, but it's grown on me. Somehow this guy survives, even though his car has been reduced to one door. But not for long, as something the Martians planted blows up literally in his face. And we move to Boston, Massachusetts, where the computers are going down. And we're introduced here to one character who we will be seeing a lot of throughout the series. This is Nurse McKay. Her name is Colleen McKay, which you will learn in the next series. But she's introduced here as Nurse McKay. She got a coworker named Winston, who's a bit of a computer geek. He's their tech guy. And he tells her the systems are fried, as if there was a EMP, electromagnetic pulse. She fears that means nuclear wars. He explains not necessarily, and just as he's saying that, all the nukes in the planet are being launched. We've lost controls over our nuclear missiles. Up they go, into the sky, into space, and we see them hovering here near the Martian Armada. Now, initially when I read this, I assumed the Martians were going to pull a Judgment Day and just drop the nukes back on the planet, but no, they want to use the planet. It's no good to them nuked. And so they've just stolen our nuclear missiles just to make sure we can't use them. And we're introduced here to this guy. He's just called the commander, but his name, as we'll find out in the 7-issue series later, is Comodoth. And Comodoth is my favorite character of the entire series. He's sneaky, he's manipulative, he's hugely intelligent. Yeah, he's an excellent character. If you ever want to know which one Comodoth is, he's got these distinctive cheekbones here that poke out. The other Martians don't have that. And when I'm speaking about Martians, here's a good chance for me to tell you these are Nards. Alright, you'll see there's two races of Martians in this book. This book introduced Nards, which are your typical big-brained Martians, and then the Payeks, who have a single eyeball in the middle of their face. Alright, the Amazon basin in Brazil, our next stop. As we see something strange landing that's just letting some gas out across the greenery. We got this guy here who works clearing acreage. And I believe this is the one we'll be following. It's hard to say because they don't name him until later. But that's Thomas. As far as I could tell, no last name. But yeah, he works as a logger in the Amazon. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him. When I say a lot more of him, I mean he'll be in his underwear most of the series. So he gets kind of freaked out by the gases, but he's convinced there's probably nothing. Just go to bed. Guantanamo Bay is certainly not just nothing, go to bed. The Martians, of course, as they did in the comic or the trading card series, know enough to take out our military installations first and foremost. And got some army types inside the bunker, planning their next move. Which brings us, of course, back to Massachusetts, in Boston, where the hospitals are being overrun by the injured, as you would expect. In fact, it's getting so bad that Nurse McKay is told that she's got to prioritize, only take care of patients in the most dire need. Everyone else can just wait. She doesn't take that very well. She's told to go on break. Go chill out before you do something you'll regret, basically. Now, the Martians are smart. As I said, Comodoth is strategist. He's good at this. They cut off most communication, but allow the news networks to broadcast so that the news can spread terror and fear for them. So they're getting us to do their own propaganda. We learned that already. Primary military installation, planet-wide targeted, is at 89.4% efficiency. Secondary sweep projected at 92.7%. And Comodoth is pleased. Apart from the cheekbones, he usually has those shoulder pads too. Another good way to tell him at a glance. cut to Washington, D.C. We don't spend a lot of time with the military or with the president or anything like that. We do see them from time to time. Most of our time will be spent with regular people off the streets dealing with the invasion, which I kind of like that approach. Brings it down to home. Most of us are not presidents. So you see the president here, who is clearly Bill Clinton, and he gets one of the best lines in the book, where it says, so, do you figure we should reopen Project Blue Book? Which, of course, is a top-secret investigation into the possibility of alien life. He's having a little bit of a mental breakdown, because he's had to authorize some people, cut them loose. We'll find out later exactly what that means. But he has to get evacuated, which brings us to Georgetown in D.C., where his little kid is trying to reach his mom on the phone. His mom seems to work in the Pentagon. Interesting. This kid will go nameless the entire series, but we'll find out in the next series that his name is Woody Brown. And Woody Brown, in case you don't know, is named after... Let me get to it. There we are. Two of our creators here, Woody Gelman and Len Brown, two co-creators of the original trading card series. So there's Woody Brown, and now you know where he gets his name. He'll become important largely because of who he's related to. He's got a mom named Janice who is missing. He's got two aunts named Kate and Anne, and one of those two will become hugely important by the time the series wraps up. Alright, upstate New York, where we're introduced to another character we will be following. This is seems to be in the Army Reserves. He claims to be just a weekender. His name is Roger Bridges. We'll find out that his first name is Roger in issue number 2, but his last name is obviously Bridges. And he's been injured in the attack. His arm's all sorts of messed up. It's going to get all sorts of worse as we continue on. He's got a buddy here, and named Tugman. And Tugman offers to go look for a doctor for him, but looking like Tugman just wants to get out of the area. And he's none too pleased. Tugman is officially off his Christmas list. Alright, so here's those PayX I was telling you we'd see. And this is the leader of the PayX, the Pay Commander, named Tellian PR, another character that will not be named until the next series. And him and Komodoth have a working relationship that's very much a rivalry, each one plotting against the other for dominance. And we end back in the Amazon basin, where our friend Thomas wakes up to hear strange noises outside his tent. It's the Blair Witch! Ah! No, much worse. It's a severed human arm. Wonderful. What could have done that? Why, the giant ants, of course. Remember those mysterious gas canisters we saw? Yep, giant mutant bugs. Always a staple of the series. Always fun whenever they show up. And this is no exception. And so this was the introduction to Mars Attacks. We also have so history of the series as a whole. Some nice artwork. But yeah, that was our first issue, and it's rather good. It cuts out a lot of like the dark humor, things like that we associate with Mars Attacks. It's very straightforward sci-fi action horror. The humor will be added later as the series go on, and for what it is, I do enjoy it. So this has been the Starving Martian, guys. We will catch up with you next week with Chapter 2, but until then, keep watching the skies.